In Incheon, South Korea, a graduate named Hyuk is sent to the hospital for hepatitis. Hepatitis is a very contagious disease, so other patients in the ward and even the head nurse do not want to go near Hyuk, as if they will be infected by just talking to him. Hyuk lies alone in bed every day with no friend daring to visit him. Just when he feels like he is abandoned by the entire world, a nurse Da-eun shows up. Da-eun doesn't mind Hyuk's hepatitis at all, takes care of him gently, and even steps forward when other patients speak ill about him. Gradually, Hyuk falls into Da-eun's tenderness, and what he looks forward to every day is Da-eun coming to check on him. That night, Hyuk is wandering alone in the hospital and accidentally finds Da-eun in the stairwell smoking. Da-eun is embarrassed and explains to Hyuk that she is too tired to stay up during the night shift, so she can only refresh herself by smoking. Hyuk also notices a silver ring on Da-eun's hand. She then reveals it as her graduation ring, much to Hyuk's relief. Just then, the head nurse suddenly walks up from downstairs. Fearing to be punished, Da-eun immediately points the cigarette butt towards Hyuk, pretending to have snatched it from him, and sternly warns him not to smoke in the non-smoking area. With Hyuk as cover, Da-eun manages to escape the punishment. Since they have this little secret, Da-eun and Hyuk's relationship has become closer. Hyuk is very distressed about Da-eun working the night shift, so he often rings the nurse's bell in the middle of the night to give Da-eun an excuse to sleep by his bed for a few minutes. Soon, Da-eun has become an apple of Hyuk's eye. He shares his meal with her, and when Da-eun doesn't have time for lunch, he fills her thermos with ramen. He also asks Da-eun to take him out for a walk, but end up making Da-eun sit in the wheelchair to take a snack break. Later, when Hyuk discovers that Da-eun has lost her ring, he plans to give her a new one. However, this sweet life does not last long. Hyuk is cured and discharged from the hospital. When he thinks about not being able to see Da-eun every day, he hopes to get seriously ill again. After returning home from the hospital, Hyuk suddenly remembers that he does not have Da-eun's phone number, so he secretly runs back to the hospital to find Da-eun, only to learn she is on leave because of sickness. Hyuk can only sneak into the nurse's station to look up Da-eun's phone number through the emergency contact book. Nonetheless, as he has just memorized the first few digits, he is caught by the head nurse. At night, Hyuk tried number by number thousands of times, and the wall is covered with numbers. Finally, Hyuk manages to make contact with Da-eun, who immediately recognizes his breathing though Hyuk hasn't said a word out of excitement. Da-eun sounds very weak, asking Hyuk if he can come to her house to accompany her. Hearing his crush saying so, Hyuk shows up at the door of Da-eun's house the next second. It's Hyuk's first time seeing Da-eun being so vulnerable. Although she was also tired from working in the hospital, she would hold on to take care of the patients. Tonight, Hyuk and Da-eun cuddle and sleep together, but Hyuk doesn't do anything improper because he cherishes this girl so much. When Da-eun wakes up, her side is empty. It turns out that Hyuk has helped her fix the broken light bulb in the hallway and made her breakfast. Feeling the long-lost care, Da-eun is touched to tears. Immediately afterward, she gently kisses Hyuk's lips. Hyuk finally wins the heart of his goddess with his gentleness. Since then, the relationship between the two has been one step closer. Da-eun invites Hyuk to go on vacation to Jeju Island for Christmas. Hyuk wants to wear matching couples outfits with his beloved girl like other couples during their trip, but he is too fat to fit into the clothes that can match Da-eun's, so he can only give it up. Fast forward to the night of the departure for Jeju Island. Hyuk and Da-eun meet at the airport. Da-eun gives Hyuk a new pair of sneakers. Although they can't wear couples outfits, they can wear couples sneakers. Hyuk is ashamed but moved, swearing to Da-eun that he will lose weight in these shoes. In the next scene, the once fat guy has become a tall and handsome young man. Every day before going to work, Hyuk will give Da-eun an intimate hug and then take away the garbage in Da-eun's house. This is a habit they have developed over the years. On arriving at the office, the boss suddenly asks Hyuk to work temporarily in a large company in Seoul. This is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. If Hyuk can be appreciated by bosses in the large enterprise, he can become a regular employee. Hyuk doesn't want to miss this opportunity, and he can travel between Seoul and Incheon for Da-eun, so he agrees to work in Seoul. After work, Hyuk drives the car he just bought to pick up Da-eun. He gently tells Da-eun that he is going to Seoul for work and that he bought the car to commute between Seoul and Incheon. No matter how busy he is at work, his love for Da-eun will never change. Then, Hyuk puts a silver ring onto Da-eun's finger. This ring is a proof that Hyuk will cherish Da-eun forever. From now on, Hyuk starts a life commuting between Incheon and Seoul. At the new company in Seoul, Hyuk and Bo Young, a cold-faced beauty, are both dispatched employees, and they are not favored by the regular workers. Hyuk thought that they could help each other, but Bo Young seems to look down on him, often mocking Hyuk, and taking Hyuk's credit of buying coffee. What's more, Bo Young tells Hyuk about the wrong job requirements, causing Hyuk to be severely scolded by the boss. Therefore, Hyuk is now full of thoughts about how to take revenge on Bo Young and somehow ignores Da-eun. At the meeting the next day, the boss praises the latest bridge design and asks whose idea it was. While the rest of the team bails out, Bo Young raises her hand and takes the credit. Hyuk finally seizes the opportunity to take revenge on her. In front of all the colleagues, he criticizes Bo Young's design for focusing only on aesthetics while ignoring the practicality. If there is a flood, the bridge will collapse 100%, which is then confirmed by software calculations. The boss appreciates Bo Young's design talent and Hyuk's observation, leaving the design of the bridge entirely to the two, which means Bo Young has to complete a new bridge design in a matter of days by herself. She is thus very busy every day, eating, living and sleeping in the office. Under such great work pressure, Bo Young's image of a cold-faced beauty is gradually destroyed, while her real personality is revealed. She is actually a somehow silly and informal girl, who overeats whenever she is stressed, and will stain her clothes 100% when she eats. Hyuk should have been happy that he had succeeded in revenge, but after seeing Bo Young bursting into tears while eating burgers, he relents and puts down his work to help Bo Young. After they communicate, they find that they actually have a tacit understanding, and they are more efficient when working together. With the help of Hyuk, Bo Young manages to design a bridge that is both artistic and practical. Once again, they are admired by the boss and the follow-up work is entrusted to them. At night, the boss brings a group of employees to the izakaya to celebrate. Bo Young has not bathed for several days, and smells terrible, but she doesn't seem to care, showing her bold side in front of everyone, and even gets drunk in front of the boss and says something embarrassing. Hyuk also worked overtime for a long time, and is very tired, but he still has to help take care of the drunken Bo Young. After that, it'll take him several hours to drive back to Da-eun's home. They haven't met for days, so they miss each other terribly. When Hyuk finally arrives at Da-eun's house, only to find her being called to the hospital for the night shift, he comes in vain this time. Da-eun comforts Hyuk on the phone, asking him to rest well, and replace the broken light bulb in the hallway before going to work tomorrow morning. Hyuk agrees and hangs up the phone, falling asleep in a daze. The next day as he hurries to work, he forgets about changing the light bulb. As Hyuk and Bo Young cooperate better and better, Hyuk gradually discovers that working overtime with Bo Young is a pleasure. While driving home for a few hours to see Da-eun as torture, Hyuk is reluctant to admit that he has broken his faith. Instead, he blames everything on being too busy to meet Da-eun. One night, Hyuk has made an appointment with Da-eun to spend the night together, but Bo Young suddenly invites Hyuk to have a drink. Though Hyuk knows he won't be able to drive back to Incheon to meet Da-eun after drinking, he still accepts Bo Young's invitation and calls Da-eun to lie that he has to work overtime tonight. Da-eun never loses her temper with Hyuk's overwork, but when she comes home from her hard work, only to find the light bulb in the hallway is still broken, she is really tired and lost. Time passes little by little. As Bo Young has worked overtime with Hyuk a lot of times, she clearly expresses her affection for Hyuk, who has never told Bo Young about having a girlfriend. Hyuk feels guilty for causing the misunderstanding and rushes home in a hurry without responding to Bo Young's confession. When he gets home, Da-eun has just returned from her night shift, exhausted. Da-eun asks Hyuk to take out the garbage at the door and change the light bulb in the hallway, but Hyuk is also exhausted and doesn't have the energy to do these chores. His procrastination ignites the anger in Da-eun's heart. Actually, she has already realized that her boyfriend is becoming colder and colder to her. While the two are arguing, Da-eun tells Hyuk that her period hasn't come this month. These words slam on Hyuk's head like a basin of cold water, extinguishing all the anger in his heart. The scene switches to the hospital. Hyuk and Da-eun have made an agreement to give up the baby, because they are very young, and still have their careers to work on. In the corridor of the hospital, the active children make Hyuk feel great psychological pressure. Da-eun's heart goes out to Hyuk, so she asks him to go back to the car to have a rest, and walks into the operating room with tears by herself. Since then, Hyuk has been extraordinarily concerned about her. No matter how late it is, he would drive back to Incheon to stay with Da-eun every day. Hence, he is tired and dim, and his schedule has fallen behind. Also, he was criticized by the boss for being late to work. Tonight, Hyuk doesn't have extra work, so he takes Da-eun to the night market they used to go to, but his mind is absent. Da-eun can tell that Hyuk is unsettled, and her good mood is thus ruined. Da-eun can't help but blame Hyuk for ignoring her since he went to work in Seoul. She is also busy at work, but no matter how tired she is, she thinks about Hyuk all the time, hoping to spend a good time with Hyuk during the rare date. However, Hyuk only shows his impatience. Hyuk knows he is the wrong one, and immediately calms Da-eun's emotions, but unexpectedly, he blurts out Bo Young's name. It isn't until Da-eun asks who Bo-young is that Hyuk comes back to his senses. But his first reaction is not to apologize, but to accuse Da-eun of doubting him. In fact, Hyuk knows better than anyone that his anger comes from his guilt. In the end, the two separate. On the night Da-eun sends the silver ring to Hyuk's office, Hyuk and Bo-young are kissing during their overtime, followed by a passionate night at a hotel. After that, Da-eun and Hyuk lose contacts completely. Around Christmas, Hyuk suddenly receives a text message from a travel company reminding him that his trip to Jeju Island scheduled with Da-eun is about to arrive. But Hyuk will not travel with Da-eun now, so he texts her to cancel the trip. On Christmas Day, Bo-young and Hyuk attend the company's annual meeting. Several major projects they collaborated on are well received, but the credit gets stolen by the bosses and regular employees. What's worse, the company doesn't intend to sign them up as regular employees, but to fire them after all the projects are over. When Bo-young learns of all this, she tells Hyuk that she plans to study abroad and find a better job, which makes Hyuk panic. If Bo-young leaves him abroad, he will have nothing left. Just then, as Hyuk notices that the status on Da-eun's social app has changed to travel in Jeju Island, he realizes that perhaps Da-eun is still waiting for him. So he rushes back to the office to get the silver ring and rushes to the airport. At the gate of the airport, Da-eun seems to be waiting for someone. Hyuk happily waves his hand and runs towards Da-eun, only to bump into another man. Da-eun rushes over but gives her hand to the chubby guy Hyuk. All the three are stunned. Until now, I figure out that Hyuk and the chubby boy are not the same person. 2 years ago, Hyuk was sent to the hospital because of an accident and fell in love with trainee nurse Da-eun. 3 months ago, Da-eun took good care of the chubby guy Hyuk, but it was because he has the same name as her boyfriend. The time when the chubby boy and Da-eun got to know each other was when Da-eun was ignored by Hyuk. So when the boy helped Da-eun fix the light bulb in the hallway, Da-eun would cry so sadly. After breaking up with Hyuk, Da-eun chose to be with the chubby boy who treats her softly and sincerely. As the memory ends, Da-eun looks at Hyuk without saying a word, and finally grabs the chubby boy's hand going into the airport in silence. So angry that he almost gets crazy, Hyuk rushes back to the annual meeting where he begs Bo-young not to study abroad but stay in Korea with him. Unexpectedly, Bo-young claims in amazement that they are not in a relationship, so Hyuk has no right to interfere with her decisions. At this moment, Hyuk finally realizes that he has lost everything. But he still can't figure out when he started to step in a wrong direction. That's the end of this drama. Hyuk thought he could freely maneuver between two women, but got nothing in the end. At the end of the story, Da-eun chose the chubby boy and dumped Hyuk, but her face looked so tired and sad. I sincerely hope that the boy can finally heal Da-eun's emotional wounds. At the end of the video, I have a question for you. In the case of Hyuk having an emotional affair first, do you think Da-eun's behavior is still cheating? Feel free to leave your answer in the comment area. Well, that's all for today's video. Please like and subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.